Hi, this is David speaking. I want to talk about when it feels like we don't really connect with people, when we feel like we don't really bond and build these really close, deep relationships. I know people who have loads of friends, for example, but they don't have any really, really close friends. When I started reading about business and stuff, I learned about the USP, the unique selling point, like the reason for why customers should choose you as a company. And I used the same logic for friendships, where I was like, for people to want to hang out with me, I need to have something unique that sets me off from the rest. So I tried to come off as good as possible. When someone asked me about my day or how my company was doing, I always said that it was great, it's awesome. The problem is that it's ironic. Just because I wanted to be more liked, that made me less likable. The reason is that when we try to always be positive or paint a certain picture about ourselves, that's when we come off as inauthentic. If we're not authentic, that's when there's this divide between us and the rest of the world. Why? I talked about this in a previous video. If we look at how we humans evolved, it becomes super clear that for someone to trust us, they need to feel like they know the real us. I mean, this has been so important throughout the human history for two individuals to really feel like they trust each other. That's the difference between life and death. If we don't feel like we know the real person, we distance ourselves a little bit. And when someone tries to come off as if they're perfect all the time, or if we feel like they put on a surface, we don't dare to come close enough to them because we're afraid that we don't know the real them. It might be dangerous. That's why authenticity is the key to really bond with people. Let's say that I talk about my day and I talk about how everything's been great, it's just been awesome. Or if I say that, so I'm feeling a bit stressed out about work right now because there's so much stuff going on and they give me new tasks all the time. So I feel like I can't really catch up, like I'm over my capacity. But yeah, so last night I had a dinner and I just watched a movie by myself and I was able to just enjoy myself and relax, and then I felt better. Do you see the difference between that? How I gave you a slice of life in the second example. In the first example, you don't really dare to be close to that person because it's like they don't really let you in. Now the opposite would be to be negative, be like, oh, it's a shitty day, nothing worked out, I hate my job. That's not what we want to do. We don't want to be overly optimistic, that's annoying. We don't want to be overly negative, that's energy draining. We want to give people energy, but we want to be authentic. So here's an example of how we can do this. If someone ever opens up to you, say something like, maybe they complain about a little thing or they share something that's a little bit private. So they'd be like, yeah, I actually found this really nice girl that I'm talking to. In return, that's a cue for you that you might be able to open up a little bit about yourself. It's not about being, oh, you do? Well, I also have this thing that I want to tell you about. That's what we call Me Too conversations. That's when we try to always rip every chance we can to talk about ourselves instead. We don't want to do that either. We want to listen to people, be authentic, give them our full attention. But we also want to be able to, when we talked about our friend, be able to talk about ourselves. So I actually had a friend who told me that he's met this girl, and I asked him, oh, interesting, tell me about it. And he tells me about it, I give him my full attention because I'm genuinely interested. And then after that, maybe I share a little bit about myself, about my life. So we want to have this back and forth thing where we share things of similar magnitude to others. Now this takes courage. The reason from the beginning to not share things about ourselves is actually a defense mechanism. We don't want to let people too close into ourselves because then we might get hurt. If you can relate to that, I have a challenge for you. The next time you talk about yourself, dare to open up just a little bit more. You don't need to give people intimate details about yourself, but I want you to tell them a little bit about your life. I want you to give them a slice of life. When we give people a slice of life, that's when we come off as authentic. that's when people dare to come closer to us. Okay, if you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe. I see you in the next one.